This week on the Racer X Show, GNCC jumps back into action, but did it pick up where it left off? We have the motorcycle story from New York, and we check out the AMA National Enduro Series. Tests, tests, and more tests. We've got video from the Little Brown Jug National. Also, women's motocross from Michigan. A first-time winner Skypes in to give us the lowdown. Road racing in the U.S. has a new face. We'll tell you that in Moto news and more, so settle in for a fun one. Hello and welcome to the Racer X Show presented by Chaparral Motorsports. I'm Greg White. Thanks for joining our racing highlight and news show. A few stars of GNCC joined the Enduro scene a couple of weeks ago, and an interesting turn of events for U.S. road racing. We have a lot to get to, so here we go.
The Racer X Show with Greg White is being presented by Chaparral Motorsports. Visit Chaparral Motorsports online at chatmoto.com.
We're going to start you off with GNCC, but before we do, a quick note about the health of amateur off-road racing. 2,080 unique entries for last weekend's GNCC, both motorcycles and ATV. It just might be the largest amateur race event ever held in the U.S. Very cool. As for round 10 of the 2014 AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis, the motorcycles raced on Sunday, where factory FMF KTM's Caleb Russell led every lap of the 3-hour race. How'd he do it? Well, to the highlights we go. As the green flag dropped for the XC1 Pro bike start, it was NFAB Am Pro Yamaha's Paul Whibley who snagged the $250 All Balls Racing XC1 Whole Shot Award. But by the time they hit the motocross track section for the first time, it was Caleb Russell out front. Whibley maintained second early on, while factory Husqvarna's Andrew DeLong, Rockstar Energy Racing WMR KTM's Ryan Sipes, and NFAB Am Pro Yamaha's Jordan Ashburn all settled into the top 5 on the opening lap. RideNPS.com AMSOIL Honda's Thad Duvall went down in the opening lap, where he checked in as far back as 10th place. With 360 racers scattered all over the 9-mile course, the frontrunners would run into lap traffic by lap 2. That would shake things up a bit. But not for Russell. He was out front with a commanding and comfortable lead. Meanwhile, Duvall put on a charge towards the front, where he worked his way into second place position just after the halfway mark. And that's when a 4-rider battle ensued between Duvall, Bach, Strang, and DeLong for the final 2 spots on the podium. But whatever for Caleb Russell, who successfully led every lap of Sunday's 3-hour race for the win. The podium sorted itself out with Duvall and Strang, with early leader Whibley in 6th. But the day belongs to Caleb Russell.
I had fun and enjoyed it. I finally got into a little groove and just started picking my way through the track and jumping through stuff, and just kind of rode consistent. And there in the last lap, I just brought on home for the win. It was a tough track. I was getting pretty tired of getting beaten up out there, but I'm happy to get another win.
For Russell, a 4-race win streak. He's led each and every lap, totaling 26 through the last 4 rounds. That's how you get a 50-point lead. Oh, did you notice Russell's hair is shorter? He said he was tired of it in his face all the time, so he cut it, with his wife donating it to the Pantene Beautiful Lengths Fund. Very cool. In the XC2 Pro Lights class, points leader Grant Baylor once again made waves in the overall running, as the young gun came within 3 seconds of finishing atop the overall podium on Sunday. Baylor's victory marked his 3rd consecutive win this season, and he's so close to the overall podium. Let's hear what he had to say post-race.
My dad was telling me I was about top 3 overall most of the day, and was really shooting for overall podium, but just missed it by about 20 seconds, he said, and it's good.
Baylor now enjoys a 29-point lead over Rains Riding University Atlas Cycles' Ricky Russell in the championship standings. In the women's class, factory FMF KTM's Casey Martinez stood atop the podium once again, and our Jen Kenyon caught up with her after the race.
Casey Martinez, congratulations once again on another WXC win here. Sounds like you and Sarah Baldwin had some good battles going on out there.
Yeah, it was a fun course, and there's a lot of people on the course, which is good, but it makes it hard for passing and stuff. Sarah Baldwin was riding great. We had a good battle. We were going back and forth a couple times. On last lap, we both got stuck on a hill, and I was just able to get going faster and bring it home to the finish.
Next week, we'll have GNCC ATV highlights from Unadilla. You don't want to miss that. Now for some moto news. Down in Mexico, they're getting ready for the final round of the FIM World Championships. And while we already know that Tony Caroli is this year's MXGP champ, the MX2 or 250cc class title is still up in the air. That's because back in July, runaway points leader Jeffrey Herlings broke his femur while riding a mini cycle in a charity race. Now, up to that point, the Dutchman Herlings was a crazy 145 points ahead of everyone, having won 22 of 24 motos he entered. But there were still 4 GP races left to run. Fast forward now to last Sunday's Brazilian GP, the penultimate round of the championship. Herlings' Red Bull KTM teammate Jordi Tixier put up 2 top 5 rides to narrow Herlings' lead down to just 23 points heading into the Grand Prix final in Mexico. Tixier has been mostly overlooked all season. He won the Czech Grand Prix and he could become the MX2 world champion, yet he was left off the French team for the Motocross of Nations and his KTM contract wasn't extended. Now, if he scores 24 points this weekend, that means a pair of 9th place finishes in what could be a very small starting gate, maybe 20 riders. Jordi Tixier will be the 2014 MX2 world champion. Now, everyone is watching Jeffrey Herling's social media updates to see if he decides to hobble onto an airplane headed to Mexico intending to race this weekend, steel rod in his femur and all, and try to race and save his season. With a less than half full gate of GP regulars plus some locals peppered in, Herlings could probably putt around and score valuable points. Now, the last place finisher in the 18-rider field in the second MXGP Moto in Brazil earned 3 championship points, even though he only made 3 laps. As painful and risky as that sounds, at least that makes it a little harder on Tixier. Add it all up, and it's going to be an interesting weekend in Mexico, starting with whether or not Herlings shows up all busted up and goes to the line, and ending with whether or not his soon-to-be former KTM teammate can score enough points to snatch Jeffrey's world title away from him. We want to remind you that you can check out Loretta Lynn's amateur national races on NBCSN, Sunday 5:30 p.m. East, 2:30 p.m. West. That's a great bit of news. All right, on the road race side of things, a quick congratulations to New York's PJ Jacobsen, who finished second in the FIM World Supersport race over the weekend in Jerez, Spain. His second in 8 races. Not bad for a rookie. And now to some interesting news for road racing in the U.S. It was announced late last week that Daytona Motorsports Group, who runs AMA Pro Racing, will not be in charge of road racing after the final round of 2014 in New Jersey. They'll still sanction motocross, flat track, hill climb, and ATV. Now, late last week, a press release came out from the newly formed Moto America series that reads this, quote, "In coordination with the American Motorcyclists Association, Crave Group LLC announced that it has entered into an agreement to take over promotional and management rights for AMA road racing properties in North America as part of the newly formed Moto America series." Now, the credibility coming from the group's president, 3-time 500 GP world champ Wayne Rainey. Look, it's still way too early in this process to see if this is going to have any impact on road racing in the U.S., but we do expect to have an interview with Mr. Rainey on the show very soon to discuss it. I just hope the news buzz gets around to those fans that were lost back in 2009. Now on to something new, women's motocross, where Kylie Fasnacht swept both motos en route to her first overall win. She did it at the Baja Brawl, which was round 5 of the AMA Women's Motocross Championship at Baja Acres Motocross Park in Millington, Michigan. Number 33 Fasnacht led every lap of the 8-lap first moto, but the Suzuki rider from Florida had to come from 3rd place on the opening lap before taking the lead on lap 4 and holding it to the finish. She beat out number 351 Amanda Mayhew and number 10 Marissa Markelin. In the second moto, Markelin was second behind early leader Mayhew, but when both riders went down in the bowl turn on lap 4, that allowed Fasnacht to take the lead. Markelin was able to rebound to claim second for the moto, with Mayhew in 3rd. Markelin was 3-2 for second overall, with Mayhew going 2-3 for 3rd. The win was Fasnacht's first of the season, and it moved the Suzuki rider into contention for the 2014 WMX title, with points leader Mackenzie Tricker absent from this weekend's race due to a scheduling conflict. All right, now please welcome to the Racer X Show for the first time, 17 years old, all the way from Florida. It's Kylie Fasnacht. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. Congratulations on the win. How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling great. Never better.
So tell us, how did you get involved in motorcycle racing?
Back when I was about 3 or 4, we started on ATVs, racing trails. Not really racing, but just riding around having fun. And then friends had dirt bikes. I always thought they were having more fun than I was on my four-wheeler. So finally got my parents to buy me a two-wheeled machine, and since then we've been racing.
Well, that's awesome. And how did you make your way to the Nationals at such an early age, too?
Mainly around the local tracks. Brinsley Diaz and her brother, Dean Diaz, they race nationally, and I thought they were having fun doing that, so I kind of begged my parents and talked them into it, and now we're here.
So we're a little bit over a week removed from your first national win. Tell us about that weekend and your experience.
It was awesome. I finally got off to a pretty good start the first moto. I think I got the whole shot, and had a lot of pressure from Amanda Mayhew and Marissa Markle on both. They were both riding really good, and I managed to hold the pressure and keep it on two wheels the whole race.
Is this the first we're going to be seeing from you? Could this be a long streak of wins, or what?
I hope it could be, but you never know.
Gotcha. Okay, 3 races left in the season. What's your prediction?
Prediction? Keep getting good starts and keep her on two wheels. There's a lot of competition out there, but the tracks are great, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us here on the Racer X Show, and congratulations again on your first national victory, and we hope to be able to get you on the show another time when we're talking about you winning a national championship.
Thank you. Hope so.
The penultimate round of the 2014 Kenda AMA National Enduro Championship was hosted over Labor Day weekend by the Greenville Enduro Riders Association in Union, South Carolina, and it was a hot one with temperatures nearing 100 degrees and high humidity. I mean, it's summer in the South. What do you expect? FMF KTM's Grant Baylor claimed his first career national enduro victory over a stacked field of competitors at the Little Brown Jug National. Several new riders to the series were competing, including GNCC points leader Caleb Russell, as well as Josh Strang, Jordan Ashburn, and Paul Whibley. And it was Russell who got the early jump on Baylor by winning the first test of the day by 8 seconds over the South Carolina rider. Team Rocky Mountain ATV MC Yamaha's Josh Strang jumped into the mix as well by turning the fastest time in test 2. Russell won again in the third test, but it was Baylor who proved to be the fastest in the tight and twisty fourth test, leaving the 3 riders in a tight battle at the midway point of the race. Russell struggled with one of the tight sections in the 6th and final test when he clipped a tree, which ultimately cost the FMF KTM rider a spot on the podium. Meanwhile, Strang had his best test of the day, beating Baylor by a massive 27 seconds. However, Baylor's consistency was enough to give him the overall win by 8 seconds over Strang at the end of the day. Baylor had been close to landing on the top step of the podium on a couple of occasions this year. However, the FMF KTM rider just couldn't quite pull it all together until this weekend, when he turned in his most solid performance of the season.
You know, just stay consistent all day, stay roughly in the top 3 all day long. Got one test win, I think, and you know, had the bike stall a few times in the last test, but ended up still getting Josh by about 8 seconds, and finished with the overall. It's a good day.
Points leader Factory Husqvarna's Andrew DeLong suffered symptoms of dehydration midway through the race, but rebounded to claim the final step of the podium. 22 points to lead with 1 race to go. Want to get out and watch some racing? Well, we want you to. The final round of the AMA Pro Superbike Series is at New Jersey Motorsports Park this weekend. That action, Friday through Sunday. And the final round of the Kenda National Enduro Series is Sunday the 14th. Get to Matthews, Indiana to see who walks away with the championship.
The Racer X Show with Greg White is being presented by Chaparral Motorsports. Visit Chaparral Motorsports online at chatmoto.com.
All right, if you want to get in touch with us, shoot me an email, greg@racertv.com. If you want us to put your local races on the upcoming calendar, greg@racertv.com. So that's it for now. We hope you enjoyed it. We sure did. Check out all of our social media links, like us, follow us, do all that stuff. We post exclusive stuff on there from time to time. And you can follow me personally on Twitter. It's @GregWhite. For the fine crew here at the Racer X Show, presented by Chaparral Motorsports and Racer TV, I'm Greg White. And remember, we are all racing all the time. See ya.